NelsonJoypad.com bring you another original. It's fucking great.
Welcome back to another Grumpy Old Gamer. I'm Scott Davidson. This is a familiar rant if you're familiar with much of my work. It's the dreaded DLC. Right now, I realise I'm in a minority on this one, but I really dislike the whole concept and execution of DLC, and I shall give you my example. Battleborn came out last week. We were lucky enough to review it. The review's up on the site. I'll maybe put a description down here if you want. I played the beta of Battleborn and I really liked it. I thought it was really good. There was a couple of story missions, two different PvP selections, and I thought it was good as far as betas go. I thought there was a lot of good ideas. The writing was funny and this, that, and the other. When I got the full game, it was all just the same as that. Now, this will sound like I'm just hating on Battleborn. I'm not. The gameplay itself, on a fundamental level, is fun, it's hectic, the writing is hilarious. And for all its faults, it's a decent gaming experience for a short time. It's not a game that I'll be playing for hundreds of hours. But in the story missions, there's only 8 of them, and you can get through the missions in about 20 minutes to half an hour if you're any good, or if you're playing with good people. There's 3 multiplayer modes that each have a selection of 2 maps, so that's 6 maps. Alright? And this was a fully priced AAA game. Why? That's my question. It's made all the worse by the fact that Gearbox have got 5 DLC packs planned for it. Okay, now, this would indicate to me that one of 2 things has happened. Either one, they have rushed to get whatever content they could into the game before it released. They didn't want to push the release date back. That's one option. The second, and this is the one that's a bit more sort of paranoid or devious, depending on how you look at it, is they realise that people will pay £50, for half a game. Titanfall proved this. And then they can sell us the other half of the game at a later date. Because once you've bought the full game, you kind of feel like you're invested in it, so you will be more inclined to pay for the DLC. It's not a long experience. It is fun and the writing is hilarious, right? But the story is kind of terrible, to be honest. It's disjointed. There's no way to actually play it through in order unless you do it in a private match. The gameplay can get a little bit repetitive, and with only 8 co-op missions or story missions, it can get a bit sort of repetitive. But fundamentally, the gameplay is fun. It doesn't feel like they've spent a huge amount of time on anything in the game. But this is something that Gearbox have done a fair bit since the release of the original Borderlands. They have worked on excellent titles, but I think they kind of take it for granted that they've got a firm fan base because of Borderlands and Borderlands 2, that they don't really need to put in that much effort into franchises of that nature. I would possibly say that that's hurting them a little bit in Battleborn's case. But it feels to me like Battleborn has been made more as a sort of generation of hype for Borderlands 3. It's not a full gaming experience. The 6 PvP maps over 3 different modes leaves a fair bit to be desired. I mean, there is gameplay in there, but it's casual gameplay over maybe a week rather than, hardcore gameplay a couple of hours a day. But it comes back to this DLC thing. This is the thing that I'm having a hard time looking past. If you have 5 DLC packs planned, that would indicate that there is a fuck ton of content that you haven't put in the main game. The industry just kind of accepts that as standard now, but I'm of the opinion if they're working on the DLC when the game goes gold, then that DLC should be included in the game. Just it should just be on the disc. Um, Back in the day of expansions, if you're a gamer of my age or possibly a little bit older, you'll remember that DLC isn't anything new, but you used to get a big chunk of content for like 13 quid or whatever. And it was an expansion on the game. It wasn't like the DLC we have now where it's like, well, here's an extra map and you get this gun, so give us 7 quid. It was none of that. But the problem is gamers accept it, so developers and publishers do it. It's a business after all. If they can make money that way, then they're going to make money that way. But it doesn't quite sit right with me that games developers now feel that they can release a game that is essentially a work in progress. I'm not talking about early access, that's something completely different. But games like, I use Titanfall as the main example because I loved Titanfall, don't get me wrong, but it was half a game. There's no arguing that. And a lot of games seem to be following that lead. If you're a gamer and you can spend £50 on a game, chances are you could fork out another £30 for the DLC in a month or two's time, alright, for the season pass. So it's not a case of, a lot of arguments online end with, well, I can't spend that amount of money, I've got a family. And whilst that, is probably an aspect, if you've spent £50 on a game, you could, I'm sure, over the next few months, afford the DLC. So it's not a case of affordability. For me, it's the principle of the matter. Okay, it's a case that if I'm buying a game, say if I go into a game store, and buy it online, or even if I download it, I want the finished article. I wouldn't go into a shop and say, oh, can I have that glass of milk, please? No, I want a pint of milk, or I want a litre of milk. You want the full product, and I feel that we're not getting the full product in a lot of cases. And unfortunately, Battleborn just happens to be the most recent in a long line of games that are doing this. It sucks. In my humble opinion, it sucks. I really dislike it. But once again, I fully appreciate that I am in the minority here. The majority of people, whilst there are people like me that'll complain about it, the majority of people will still buy DLC, and that's why developers and publishers are still putting it out. If we didn't buy it, they wouldn't make it. Simple as that. But I don't know, it just seems like the games industry has gotten very, I don't want to say lazy because that's not the right word. I'm fully aware of exactly how much work goes into making a game. Okay, but the professionalism, I think, is maybe a better word, is less important these days. The stamp of quality, the guarantee that when you buy a game, it's as good as these people can make it. Because now when you buy a game and you get it, say if you buy a disc copy and you put it in, chances are there's going to be a day one patch. Because they haven't finished the game when they've sent it away to put it on the disc. And then in all likelihood there's going to be frequent patches after that. Because they're still tweaking the game and modifying it. I see the point with multiplayer focused games for balance issues and things of that nature. But, for a game, any sort of standard game, could you just finish it before you sell it to us? That's all I'm asking. I'm just asking for a finished game. But very, very seldom get them these days. I mean, they are out there. There are games that will come out and they are the finished the finished sort of product. But yeah, just finish it before you sell it. We're not commissioning a game. It's not like we're commissioning an oil painting to hang in our study. Paying, anything between 30 and £80 for a game. Just give us the fucking game. Just get it done and do it. If you need to postpone the game to get it finished, then postpone it. I would much rather have a finished product than this constant upgrade. Destiny is the prime example. I really disliked Destiny when it was released because it was, I felt, half a game. The minute-to-minute gameplay was quite good, but overall, it just didn't stack up. We're, what, a year and a half later? Over a year and a half. And now it's a decent experience to play because they've gone and they've changed everything. But it took a year to get to that stage. Could you maybe just finish the fucking thing before you sell it? I can't think of any other industry that you would put something on sale, not pre-orders, but you would put it on sale when it isn't even finished. Before you put your hand in your pocket for DLC and you support the culture of downloadable content, just think, does this game warrant more investment? If some DLCs, for Fallout DLCs, they add more to the story, generally speaking. But, a game that has 6 multiplayer maps, 3 multiplayer modes, and only 8 missions, which can be finished in 25 minutes. That doesn't sound to me like a full game. That sounds like an Xbox arcade title or a PS Plus title. Something to think about, maybe. I don't think I'll have changed anyone's minds, but fuck it. I like this particular high horse. Yeah. I'm gonna wait to feed it some oats. I'll see you next time. Like, comment, and subscribe. Comment, tell me, do you like DLC? Do you think I'm a twat? Let me know.